I would like to welcome you to this presentation and to tell you that I will be exploring with you this research that was developed by myself and my fellow researcher, Danielle. We'll be talking about the Paralympic Games through the children's eyes, opportunities for a good talk on disability. On the educational field, the theme of the Olympic Games presents itself as a wide possibility of approach, with strengths in the subjects at any school stage. An inclusive school is the one which welcomes all children, regardless of disability, aiming at a harmonious coexistence, and so working with the disability is something that needs to be in the concerns not only of the school, but of all society. Considering the occasion of the 2020 Paralympic Games held in 2021, we sought to know the perception of 30-year students in elementary school on such games and their universe through an expository class, conversations about disability and aspects involving it in the Paralympic context. There were researches in the national literature aiming the construction of our theoretical referential. This is a case study carried out through a recorded activity whose resulting data were transcribed, analyzed, and treated based on the theoretical contributions of Manzini and Bardon. It is reaffirmed that the childhood curiosity so present in the reports should be used in favor of correct information, preventing prejudice and misunderstandings from being majored in the kids' development. The Paralympic Games involve sports adapted or created for athletes with disabilities. Initially, its history is related to the Second World War and the rehabilitation of soldiers injured in war as a form of reintegration into society. Considered today as a high-performance sport, every 4 years, the Paralympic Games feature a great number of registered athletes and new modalities are added to the event, which takes place in the same location as the Olympic Games. Sports organizations, federations, and committees were being developed, and athletes' performance became an important highlight, defining potential, improving the value of sport in its broadest sense. Athletes who seek excellence in sports practice, ability, potential in face of disability, unknown modalities that arouse interest, and representation are unquestionable legacies for society. And in light of this, they present themselves as opportunities to be explored in different areas, such as in education, for example. Prejudice, differences, and ableism still exist, which contaminate relationships and affect coexistence between people with and without disabilities. Ableism, in particular, is very present in the media, presenting athletes as heroes, especially during games such as the Paralympics. This ableist view distorts the individual's version of reality and places them in a position that may not consider the entire reality they experience and may even stereotype them. Perhaps the media should produce another narrative about them without ignoring their particularities, but recognizing them for what they are, athletes. In schools, observing the national special education policy from the perspective of inclusive education, an inclusive school is one that welcomes all children, regardless of disability, and for the coexistence to be harmonious for everyone. Working on disability is something that needs to be in the concerns not only of the school and curricula, but of society itself. It is of great importance that typical school-age children receive stimuli with the aim of internalizing inclusive values, immersed in contacts that provide bonding in this sense. In this sense, it is up to the school to spark discussions, outline goals, plan and execute actions that encourage inclusive democracy in the student group from an early age, discouraging and combating discriminatory and prejudiced practices, in addition to encouraging respect for differences and diversities. The proposed activity took place during the 2020 Paralympic Games season, which took place in 2021 due to the COVID-19 pandemic in the months of August and September. In a private early childhood education and elementary school located in a city inside the state of São Paulo, The theme of the Olympics and Paralympics was developed with students in the third year of elementary school. Organized in a place on the school sports court, a projection screen was made available for the activity, as well as the necessary tech equipment. A slideshow was created and projected with the history of the Paralympic Games, highlighting the historical aspects and modalities, how the Brazilian delegation was composed, main rules, participating countries, sports personalities, and the medal table. From then on, each discipline defined its focus within the theme, and activities were developed offering students interdisciplinary work. In the physical education discipline, which is the focus of this paper, each sport modality was seen in practice through previously recorded official videos. After this exhibition, the official rules, the countries participating in the sport, the Brazilian athletes who participated, and the medal table were presented. During the activities, students began to express interesting comments regarding the topics covered, and as a result, three categories were identified, which we will discuss next. The first category is Paralympic modality. Once the modalities were presented, short videos with clippings of the competitions were presented again, as well as their official rules. During the presentation, the students were free to share their perceptions. At the same time as the students' curiosity regarding the execution of the modalities and their development by the Paralympic athletes is perceived, it is also clear how much the lack of information can accompany prejudice and ableism in some students, which can result in an unpleasant coexistence for a child with disabilities among others without. Thus, some reports raise concerns about providing guidance to avoid hostile forms of prejudice in school life. They also reaffirm the need to clarify doubts regarding disabilities from a very early age with children so that healthy relationships are established from an early age. The second category was Paralympic athletes. The Brazilian delegation was introduced to the students, and each member was identified within their Paralympic sport. Some were already better known due to media coverage as the games got closer. Others were still unknown. It was observed how much family experiences are of great importance for the child in the formation of their perceptions, in addition to the effective value involved in the action of sharing and experiencing. The interactions with people with disabilities makes them reflect on what they can watch, what they experience, and can reproduce. It is an experience that can yield good learning, both physical and reflective about the strange and different that generates reactions such as curiosity, fear, or repulsion. Based on this idea, in a classroom, it is possible to find an opportunity to demystify feelings of fear and repulsion in the face of disability and take advantage of children's curiosity to inform them about what really is and how differences may not be so strange after all. It is then of considerable value that children from an early age have the possibility of consuming content, objects, or even toys that address and discuss disability, accessibility, and inclusion, contributing to the elimination of prejudices associated with people with disabilities. Simultaneously with the experiences, some perceptions deserve to be highlighted as they not only can report curiosity about the differences between games, but also portray some introductory aspects that can and should be worked on in students from a very early age, such as caution with terminologies, so that they don't reproduce pejorative terms in coexistence, for example. I had only seen sports from normal people. I had never seen sports from people with disabilities. But I think there are a lot of sports that we can do together because it's very similar. Swimming, running, table tennis, and some others that we saw here. I don't think there was even a need to separate the games, but my father said they have to separate because each sport needs adaptation and then it wouldn't be fair for the athletes. This statement was made by a 9-year-old boy. Oh, my mother said, we cannot say that when a person has a disability, They are not normal. We have to say that they have a disability because they are normal, just a little different from us. That was from a girl, 8 years old. I know a lot of people who say this wrong. A friend of mine from Sunday school doesn't have an arm, and everyone calls him ugly things. The teacher said that he's special, so we have to respect him. This statement was made by an 8-year-old girl. The teacher intervened, advising the students that the appropriate term is person with a disability, and commented on the issue of differences between the games, respecting the abilities and potential of each athlete in each category. But still, some questions arose and opened up the following category about the difference between the games. Third category was perceived differences between the Olympic and Paralympic Games. Concerns regarding the transmission of the games and the differences that separate the games reaffirm the need to work on inclusion with children, as differences can be alleviated and coexistence between them can be favored. This openness that students offer when faced with a subject like this must be taken advantage of, and all of opportunities for the topic of disability to be explored in schools become of great importance. At the end of the class, the teacher instructs each student to choose a game to play with someone in the family. They should record the activity in a photograph or a video that would then be displayed to the classroom and their colleagues. Of the 40 students involved in this activity, 37 records were returned, including photos and quick videos. Teacher let each one explain their choice and talk about it, and some reports were very interesting as they demonstrate, in addition to the joy of playing, the discovery of new possibilities in sport and in living with people with disabilities. Working on the Paralympic Games with elementary school students brought important points to the school community in general. It is a theme that has so many possibilities and must be worked on at all school stages. To address the issue of disability and how much sport can contribute to new perspectives is consistent with the principles of inclusion and contribute in a very significant way to better coexistence between children. Children's curiosity must be taken advantage of in order to inform them correctly about certain subjects, preventing prejudices and misconceptions from developing in their development. The proposal to record the activity and experience the modality may not bring the entire experience of disability, but it is an important possibility, even if momentary, about feeling and being disabled, which can help in development of empathy and respect to what is different. The school-family partnership needs to be the pillar for major changes in education. And in this scenario, there is one more element that needs to be mentioned: the school library. All the activity carried out was possible with the support of professionals trained in capturing materials and proposing ideas, which strengthens the initiative and reaffirms the power that exists in collaborative work. Physical education provides the student not only the experience of sport, but with an awakening to quality of life, and in this aspect, it transforms a scenario that can change lives and opinions. We appreciate your time and attention. Feel free to contact us.